one of the themes you were talking about from at the beginning there is this the contracting out, the
Yeah,
VIP lanes for the PPE,
yeah,
the just the handing of obscene sums of money to
yes,
friends and donors of the cabinet. Like
yes.
I I I am just blown away when I think about how that's a banana republic. Like that is
Yeah.
literally like an oligarchy.
Well, it is, and I think you're not the only one who's blown away. Um, a lot of journalists seem not to have woken up to what this government is doing. You hear people talking about big state and small state. You know, traditionally the left would say the state has an important role in providing things, and the right would say yes, it does, but you know, by and large, um, private sector is more efficient, so we should try and keep the state small and get the private sector to do everything. And that's if you like, that's the traditional argument. Now, of course, we've got the highest taxes in 70 years, I think it is, in this country. And some journalists are writing about that as though, well, maybe Johnson is the one nation Tory who's trying to steal. But I've read articles saying this. Actually, I know it sounds laughable, but this is what some journalists are saying, that you know he's
Yeah.
trying to steal Labour's clothes, and all this levelling up is going to steal Labour's clothes. That is complete nonsense. He's not levelling up at all. He talks about levelling up with every breath, and indeed, I think today he said it was the defining mission of the government. In which case, the government has manifestly failed on its defining mission. But they have no intention of doing that. What they're building is a plunder state. So it is different from traditional Toryism. They're not trying to just shrink the state. They're actually saying, well, it's perfectly fine to have quite high taxes as long as it's not the richest people who are paying those taxes. So when you look at how they chose to raise taxes, well, they reduced some taxes on banks. They didn't try and close any tax loopholes at the top. They did increase national insurance, which hits all normal working people. So, in other words, they're taking the money out of the middle of the population and funneling it to the very, very wealthy. So it's a plunder state. So they're quite happy to see a big state and, you know, 37 billion for the test and trace. That's a big amount of money. They're perfectly happy with that because they like where it goes. It goes to their friends, and then I'm sure in some circuitous route, some of it will come back to them. So um, this is different. This is not just Tories being Tories. This is, as you say, it's a deeply corrupt, institutionally corrupt government, which is doing something different. And that's part of the problem because people just can't really believe anybody would do that. Now, the evidence is becoming clearer day by day by day, but nevertheless, you know, a lot of people who've always voted Tory, they can't really believe it. They won't believe it until they've been told by enough Tory MPs that it's true, which might be starting to happen now. But you know, it's obviously that's a very bad way of getting your information about what the Tory party is doing if you only believe it once you've heard it from a Tory. So, uh, so yes, I think you're absolutely right, and also I think you're right to raise the shock doctrine point earlier, because clearly they saw the COVID epidemic as one of those crises that they could exploit. And so we are talking about, in total, the best part of 40 billion, at least.
Mm-hmm.
That's roughly 40 billion that we know about.
Yeah.
That's not counting all the things that we've got no idea about that are going on,
Yeah.
which they've managed to plunder in 2 years. You know, that's really moving fast and taking full advantage of the opportunity opened to turn Britain into a banana republic.
Yeah.
So Ken Clarke made the point that we are not so far from living in an elected dictatorship. The reason they want us to be in an elected dictatorship is to give them unfettered freedom to do that. If it's effectively a dictatorship, they can do what they like. We can't challenge them in the courts. We can't challenge them in any other way. So, you know, we might be unhappy, but what do they care?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we can't rely on the opposition these days, but Anyway,
Well, I mean, at least they're scoring
this
a few points
well,
now.
yeah, they
Yeah,
are at least finally. I mean,
yeah.
talk about setting them up for the volleys. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment for us in the comments below. Let me know what you thought and if you'd like to see more of this from the show. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time.